Hi everyone, and welcome to Club Live here at Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. I do not know what happened there. Before I introduced...
I don't think this is working.
Right, okay, we'll end it.
Carry on, mate. It might be working, I don't know.
Well, it's come up, my thing, yes. I don't know what happened there. That's a fantastic way.
Skip the count.
I don't know what's going on.
What is going on?
What has happened here?
There's no comments.
Can people comment, please, in the chat and see, is this working? Look, keep your comment, it must be working. That was a disaster, by the way. That was an absolute disaster.
Of all nights for me to host a show, honestly. But yes,
I had no idea what happened.
Let's start again. Yes, welcome to Club Live here at Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. Sorry, we were obviously having technical difficulties in the background there. Before I introduce my guests, to support the podcast, you can join the channel for as little as 99p. You can buy the podcast a coffee and join the Coffee Buying Legend membership via buymeacoffee.com. All links are in the descriptions below. Now, introducing my guests. First of all, the guy working the technical stuff behind the scenes, Scott Carney. What a start to the podcast. Just as good as Rangers' performance this season, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't even slightly guess what happened there. That just went very, very, very wrong. All of a sudden, we were live, and I was like, I don't even know if I clicked to go live. Yeah, that was a disaster. Hello, everybody. I hope everybody can hear us and everything is okay. It seems like it's working. So, yeah, sorry about that. We're not a professional podcast, never will claim to be. So, yeah, such is life, mate. We move, mate. We move.
Yeah, Scotia, I wonder if Heart and Hands live at Edmondson House tonight will start with a bang like we have tonight. That's one for the bloopers for end of season party, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. I'm sure that Heart and Hand show will be echelons above where we are. No, that was a very interesting start to the podcast. I was like, what the hell's going on? And you kind of summed it up there. It sums up Rangers' season, I think. That's so taking lead from the team that we all support and follow and why we're here. But even in everybody.
You also know I hate when stuff like that happens. Like, I can't stand it. I'm like, what? Okay, I don't honestly know what happened.
I actually thought you were going to bin it at one point. That's why I didn't really speak, because I thought you were just going to bin it and start it again.
We can't. That's the thing, though. Even if we bin it and start again, everybody has to go off the one that they're currently on and go to the other one, like the thing that happens. So as long as everybody can hear us, we'll carry on regardless.
Yes. Sorry, everyone, for the start there, but we will battle on and bring it back. But first to discuss is the Hearts game from Wednesday night, the last home game of the season. Rangers have been unbeaten at Ibrox this season. Doesn't feel like it, the amount of games we've been to Ibrox. There's a lot of dross who've watched the Ibrox this season. It finished 2 each against Hearts. Me and Carney said it was the greatest hits of Rangers rolled into one game. I think it was. The starting lineup was Alan McGregor on goal, obviously for his final game at Ibrox. Tav, Suter, King, Yilmaz, Lundstrom, Raskin, Glenn Kamara, Cantwell, Fashion Sakala, and Alfredo Morelos again for his final game at Ibrox as well. Scotia, you weren't obviously on the post-match. What was your thoughts on Wednesday night? I know you were sitting with me for the second half, so I kind of know your thoughts, but tell everyone listening and in the comments what you thought about Wednesday.
Yeah, well, firstly, on the team, I didn't know the team until I met you up in the concourse in the club deck, and you told me because I'd missed it on my way up in the car. And the team, when I seen that team, I kind of got what I expected to see from the ensuing game that followed. But I was thinking actually today about it and see, other than Kamara, if that game had been a meaningful game for us, that was probably one of the strongest teams we could have sort of fielded with the players available for selection. Obviously, with the exception of Kamara there, that one really shocked me. But the game itself, yeah, I thought it kind of turned into what I thought it would be. All 4 goals were from defensive errors. If you look at them back, thought Rangers grew into it a wee bit towards the end of the first half, and then second half, it looked like it was going to be a fairly enjoyable evening. Not really any intensity to it from our part. A wee bit surprised from Hearts basis. I thought they would be a wee bit more up for it because they were still, obviously when they're playing, they don't know what the result of the Aberdeen game was at the time. So they were going into that game having to get points, the 3 points that would maybe see them finish third, or at least going into the weekend here aiming for third. But it didn't seem like they were playing like that. And then, just as things looked as it was gearing up to say farewell to all the players, Hearts score from a few defensive sort of errors and that their final goal.
Yeah, Carney, obviously we done a post-match on it. It was 2 calamities at the back for us to give goals. Wasteful in front of goal again, which Beals alluded to in his presser today. In fact, today, his kind of opening line was good riddance to this season, which is exactly what I think a lot of Rangers fans are thinking. But I had a funny feeling Wednesday night, Carney. You've got Alan McGregor in there that hasn't started for a while. Morelos started. It was very end of season, but obviously Hearts had something to play for. But in terms of us, I thought it was quite flat, to be honest, as a performance.
Yeah, it wasn't great, mate. It wasn't. I've had better Wednesday nights, put it that way. I think the emphasis was put too much on who we were saying goodbye to, mate. That's the be all and end all of it all, because at points it felt like a testimonial match, and it felt like we were there just there to watch when you go to these Legends games and stuff like that, and it's one of those kind of games. And then obviously there was a wee bit of needle happened within it when Naismith tried to wind up Morelos, and then it all got a bit heated. I thought Hearts were pretty dirty at times, but again, not dirty, just probably quite clever and try to stop Rangers from breaking on them. But the game itself, mate, it's not one I'm ever going to really sit down and watch ever again. I might watch the highlights from like the Cheerios and all that, but I'm very much at the stage where the league finished on Wednesday, yet we've got to play a game tomorrow. And I'm like, we've got a game tomorrow. I mean, it was a poor performance all round. It was just very, not really much in it. And I think there was almost too many changes made. Glenn Kamara getting brought in, I'll never understand why. I literally don't get it. Especially if he was trying to put him in the shop window, he did very little for any team to be attracted to him. So, it is what it is, mate. A ridiculous game in terms of defensive errors from both teams, really. And just the same old story, mate, if we've witnessed all season, that we just don't have out and out finishers, or nobody with that deadly finish that we're really going to need going forward. So no, it was. Again, it was what it was, mate. As we walked down Pleasure Road after it, we even said amongst each other, I don't even think I'm particularly bothered that it was 2 each.
No, it didn't mean anything in the grand scheme of it. The league's gone. I know me and Scotia looked at when Rangers were winning at one point and Celtic were getting beat by Hibs, and at that point the difference in points was actually 5 points, which is bizarre because we've been miles away this season. Obviously, they've turned off because they won the league weeks ago, and you can understand that. But Scotia, that's undefeated at Ibrox in the league this season. It doesn't feel like that. Is there any games you can really think of at Ibrox this season that you walked away and thought that was enjoyable? Obviously, apart from the Old Firm a couple of weeks ago, but a lot of games at Ibrox this season for Rangers have been a severe slog, and it's mainly because we struggle to break teams down and we can't score goals.
Yeah, walking away from it. In fact, it's interesting. The 2 ones that probably spring to mind are the 2 wins that we had against St Mirren, the 5-2 most recently and the 4-0 earlier in the season. All the other ones, like you say, they've been Ryan's 2-1s, or they've certainly felt like 2-1s, or very sort of just got there. Yeah, it's not been absolutely brilliant at Ibrox this season at all. Maybe the game against was it USG as well, obviously coming in to turn that game around, but that's gone back to the very, very start of the season. It's like you say, it's good that it's undefeated at home over the course of the season, but it's not been the most enjoyable at home over the course of the season. I would say the majority of our best performances have been away from home this season in the league.
Yeah, Ryan says it in our group chat quite a lot. It's been it's been a slog going to Ibrox this season. It really has. It's like Scott, we're scrambling for games to think about. I just seen somebody put Rangers on tour pop the Aberdeen game before Beale came in. I remember that. Was it 4-1 or something, Rangers, I think.
Yeah.
But there hasn't been much to shout about Ibrox this season at all, and you can throw European football in there as well, Carney, which was shocking at Ibrox in the group stages. But it's hasn't been a great place to go to Ibrox this season at all.
No, it hasn't, mate. It's been one of those kind of jokes that we've had throughout the season, especially with you saying, I expect Rangers to put on a performance at Ibrox, and I'm like, mate, as longer it went on, it was never going to happen. It was a real slog, mate, especially under Gio. It was hard work. And do you not think that Giovanni Van Bronckhorst being our manager already feels like a million years ago? That's how long this season has felt. It's felt very, very long. But no, there's been no real one you can kind of say we were superb or we were at our absolute best, because I don't think the team as a whole is at its absolute best based on where we are in terms of players coming to the end of their career. And it's it was a transition season, if that makes sense, with players probably realising quite early on that they weren't going to be here the following season. So yeah, I can't really pick in one out. Yeah, Aberdeen game, yeah, Rangers were good. We were good, but it's been very rare, mate, that we've left going, that was superb. That was absolutely superb. It hasn't really happened. Obviously, the Celtic game, I enjoyed that, of course I did, but at the time of the season that it's at. But I think that's probably if I'm to hang my hat on one thing this season, it probably would be that, without making myself sound too tinfoil hat wearing, that it was so important for us as fans to get something to cling on to go into next season, and to see that they can be beat. They can claim they were playing a B team or whatever. That's fair enough. They can do, but they can have that claim if they like. But Rangers were really good that day in terms of our attitude and our application of the game plan. I don't think we were again at a free flying best in terms of football, in terms of the way we were moving the ball around, but there were certain moments in the game that we were really good, and it was more than enough to comfortably beat Celtic, and it's always good when you cuff them. So yeah, that would be the only one for me, mate, that I would think, right, well, that's something to build on. It's something to build on going into the summer. But in terms of the rest of I can't even talk about Europe because it hurts. Just how bad that. I mean, I'll never forget sitting down next to you after the Liverpool game. I don't think my dad left about 80 minutes or something like that. I came down and sat both of you two, and it looked like you had been 12 rounds with Tyson. I was looking at both of you, and you're just like that's kind of glare on of like, what are we watching here? What are we watching? Because it was an absolute disaster. It really was. But yeah, I think it's still important, the fact that we are still consistently picking up his points at Ibrox, and we're not. It's still becoming a place that other teams don't want to come to. But in terms of performance levels, I fully expect an increase in them and a vast improvement in them as well, because at the end of the day, I think Beale likes to play entertaining football. Gio doesn't. Whether he just didn't suit the Scottish game or not, but it wasn't very attractive to watch. But I think Beale wants to play attractive football, and when you're bringing in players like Cantwell, you're definitely wanting to excite the fans, because he's a very exciting player. So yeah, I am already looking forward to next season, mate, to see what our performance levels will be like at Ibrox.
Yeah, no, I think majority of Rangers fans are. I think next season, with the players he's looking to bring in, it's an exciting time at Rangers. What's happening? So yes, the summer, if it can come quick, I would like that. Obviously, we've got some friendlies to come up to, but I'll bring that up shortly. So obviously Scotia, the 5 guys who are leaving: Kent, Morelos, Arfield, Alan McGregor and Phil Hollander, who has been found from somewhere. We all wondered what Hollander was. Me and Carney kind of had our say on the 5 of them leaving. I know the 3 of us stood there at Ibrox and applauded them. They have done well in a Rangers shirt, a lot of them. Alan McGregor, for me, is obviously a Hall of Famer. 2 spells at Rangers. What a fantastic career he's had. The other ones I think we'll look at, formerly Scott Arfield, I think it's been a fantastic signing. But I said in the post-match week, I thought it was slightly over the top for a group of players that, let's be honest, they won a major title for us, and it was a big title they did win back, a Scottish Cup, getting to European final, but they failed us a lot of times. I just thought it was, for me, it was slightly over the top. I don't know what your thoughts were on it.
No, I disagree. I don't think it was over the top at all, to be honest. I think they deserve to get a send-off because, like you say, yes, this season's not been great, but for what they've given to the club, Arfield's been in, he was Gerrard's first signing, wasn't he, Scotty Arfield? Morelos has been here for a season or two before that. McGregor's obviously over the two separate spells. No, I think they did deserve something like that. To be honest, I thought all they would do the wee bit that they'd done that we'd stayed for, where they walked up with the players and sort of clapping them, the players having a wee moment. But they, from what I've heard, they've went round and done like a lap round the stadium, which again I think's fully deserved. And you can't. This is where I disagree with when saying over the top. Look how many people actually stayed around till the end. And obviously we ended up leaving after the first wee bit. But there was still loads and loads of seats filled while they were doing that. And if you look at Ibrox in a normal match day, over half of those seats are empty by 83 minutes. So no, I think it was well deserved.
Yeah, no, that's you're entitled to have your opinion on it. I just thought, Karen, it was obviously we stayed to clap them, but I just thought of a season that has been it's been a disaster of a season. I just thought for me, it was slightly over the top. I'm not saying these players haven't contributed to Rangers over the years. They have. Al McGregor, I put aside. I'm looking at your Morelos, Kents and all that. I think they're down tools this season. Arfield's been a fantastic signing for us. He really has. But I just thought for me, it was over the top. I don't know where you sit, Can. I don't know if you're in my camp, Scotia's camp, or on the fence.
Probably somewhere in between the both of you. Before I go any further, Dundee Taylor and Andy Hillis is both of them have bought the 3 coffees for the podcast, 3 coffees each for the podcast. Thank you so much, lads. I really genuinely do appreciate that. That's absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. Over the top, right? I think some of it was, yes. I don't like I know the lap of honour is almost the manager wanting to say thank you very much to the fans as well. I do get that, and because there was so many leaving, then it could maybe be justified. But you're not carrying around a big shiny thing. So I'm not really interested in clapping. That's my opinion. Okay, that's the way I feel about it. I thought you should have done the wee bit that you done, yeah, the wee guard of honour for the players, yes, and then turned round, waved to the crowd and got off. I just don't like the walking round bit was so the UB could sing the songs to the Rangers players when they got round there. That was the only reason what it was for. Look, it is what it is. Some like it, some don't. For me, it was a wee bit over the top. What I will say though is the reception that Scotty Arfield got when he was coming on was incredible. The reception with Morelos was coming off was incredible. I thought it was really nice of the crowd to do so after, and what Bill said, after a trophyless season for us, to give players that sort of reception. I thought was a really nice touch. McGregor, yeah, a bona fide legend, mate, always will be. I think Morelos in time, mate, will be remembered very, very fondly. I loved Alfredo Morelos. I've never denied that I did. This season hasn't worked out for him, whether it's because he's known from early on he was leaving or whatever it was. I don't really know, but I loved him. I absolutely adored him, and I will miss that crazy little man. I really will. The celebration and everything, mate. We're going to need to figure out something else that we can do to each other when a player scores, because we can't do that to each other anymore. But and yeah. Say Hollander. I've not seen Hollander come out. I was like, oh, he's there. Somebody's found him. He's there. But if somebody said he still had a moon boot on, but he doesn't. He didn't have a moon boot out.
No, he was walking fine.
Yeah, he was when he came out. But I think, as far as reports are aware, he's miles away from playing football. So quite rightly he goes. And Ryan Kent, yeah, I don't know why he was dressed like he was in a JD Sports advert. Or
That's
like
right,
he just.
Ken, no.
Or he was just about to get on his flight to go to wherever he's going. I didn't like it to an extent though, because I thought the players are meant to. I thought they were meant to wear suits to the home games. Am I wrong? In that, I think they are meant to. When saying that, Hollander wasn't wearing a suit either. So no, well, I think Hollander was wearing a tracksuit. I think he was wearing a tracksuit. Okay, it doesn't matter.
He was wearing the grey. Hollander was wearing that grey Rangers trackie.
Yeah, but yeah, as I say, it was. I'm probably more kind of half and half, mate. I didn't like the announcement halfway through the second half. Please stay at the end and all. I was like, everybody knows. Do you know what I mean? It's not as if people don't know. Like, there's no need to do that. But thoroughly deserved for Alan McGregor and Scott Arfield. I think they've been great. Alan McGregor in particular. And I think Kent maybe not be remembered as fondly. I think he was important in some European games. I don't think these kind of latter couple of seasons that he had with us weren't great in terms of stats wise, so he might not be as fondly remembered, but there's just no doubt for me that Alfredo will be remembered fondly because he's our all-time top European goal scorer. Yes, we had to play a million qualifiers, but he still has to score in the qualifiers. So yeah, I think time will be kind to Alfredo, but it's right that everybody, it's right what we're doing, it's right who's moving on, as hard as it is to admit it with Scotty Arfield because he's such a lovely and genuine bloke, but it's right that we move on now, and I like that Beale's been ruthless to an extent.
Yeah, I wish them all the best moving forward. Alan McGregor's obviously going to retire. I'll be interested to see Arfield. I think Arfield have a lot of options to go places. Ryan Kent and Morelos, that's the two I'm interested to see where they go next in their career and what happens with their career because they're still young guys, so I'll follow them with interest and wish them all the best. But no, we will look back in years to come fondly because they have contributed to Rangers. But yeah, it's an end of an era and we move forward. And we had a new signing unveiled on Wednesday night, Scotia. Kieran Dowell from Norwich, 25 years of age, started his career at Everton. He's been at Norwich for 3 years. He played in the Premier League with Norwich as well, 19 games. He's obviously played with Cantwell. Described as an attacking midfielder, can play along the front line as well. He's left-footed. Beale did say about when we've lost Joe Rebo, obviously we've not kind of replaced that natural left-footed player, similar to Tom Lawrence as well. I know you're going to tell everyone in the comments and listen, Scotia, exactly who Kieran Dowell is. That's why I came to you first. What's your thoughts on Kieran Dowell as the first signing in the summer?
Cheers for that, Ali, because I'm an avid watcher of the English Championship, as everyone knows. No, to be honest, I don't pay much attention to the English Championship, if I'm being completely honest. So sometimes when these signings come in from here, I'll look at them. They don't fill me with as much enthusiasm as maybe players from other leagues that I watch a wee bit more of. But from what I've heard from people about him, he seems to be a decent sort of player. I've been listening to some of the updates from Heart and Hand through the week, and they've been kind of mentioning that, speaking to Norwich fans, that they've been saying he's a clever attacking midfield type player, not as good as Cantwell. And when I heard that, you know who Kerry sprung to my mind? It's like Scotty Arfield, because Scott Arfield's like a clever, intelligent attacking sort of midfield type player. And I was like that, a younger version of him, only 25-year-old. Listen, it's a Bosman. First bit of business, I think that's decent bit of business because we've only got a limited budget that we can work with, so being able to bring players in that are going to contribute to the team, which obviously Beale does think, because I think Beale's worked with him in the past as well, is only good. Listening to his interview as well, you know, it was pretty encouraging to hear things like Beale speaking to him months ago about coming. Obviously the rumours have been flying about a wee bit. I think he was up in Glasgow with Cantwell either last weekend or the weekend before. I think he'd come up and was kind of getting shown around. So no, it's a good start, I would say. Obviously, I think the attacking area is where we need to improve because Beale's alluded to this, and you might come on to it when you speak about his press conference. But since Gerrard's come in, really domestically, we've struggled to break teams down in that attacking sort of area. Yes, we've had some really good performances, but we've not been converting those opportunities and chances into goals and into like a decent, significant wins and things like that. So I can only be a good thing. He's also pretty good that he's also played with, obviously Cantwell most recently, but he would have played with Lawrence when he was out with Derby, and obviously Lundstrom. It's what Sheffield United did, and Everton as well. I think he would have played with him there. So it's good that he's coming in and he knows a few of the lads. Hopefully get settled fairly quickly, and we'll just see where it takes us.
Yeah, Carney. A lot of people turn their nose up at players because I've never heard of Kieran Dowell from Norwich. It's like, why are we sending players from Norwich? But Todd Cantwell's an example of you can get gems down there. We'll just need to see what this boy's like. If he had a fancy name or he was from Argentina or something, we'd all be getting excited probably because of the fancy name. But because he comes from Norwich, folk have said he's injury prone. I've looked into it. He hasn't really been injury prone in his career. It's just, I think it's just this season he's been unfortunate. So he isn't injury prone. He's a good age, 25. Like I say, he's played in the Premier League with Norwich, and he's a free transfer. So I think it's a good bit of business. And as Scotia said, it's a guy middle to front, and he scores goals as well. And it's something we lack in the front line.
Yeah, it's a very low risk signing for Rangers, I think, considering where he's been playing football. I think it kind of makes sense. All the reports that I'm hearing about him are good. I think the injury prone thing's just our scar tissue of always having signing injured players. You're right though, he's not injury prone. He's just been injured this season. It's just one of those. He's a footballer. It's going to happen to him from time to time. So I'm not particularly worried about the injuries. He's got an absolutely cracking song. His song is...
That's been my head since Ryan put that in the group chat.
His song is brilliant. For those that don't know, it's Kieran Dowell, Dowell. I quite like it. I think that's quite good. No doubt the UB have already been training for that one and ready to sing it as soon as they see him in a Rangers jersey. So, no, in terms, it makes sense, the signing for the area of the pitch that he plays in, the kind of player that he is. It's something that we need. I'm all for him having chemistry with Cantwell and with Lawrence. That's great because that's the three in my midfield every day of the week, probably when they're all fit, obviously with Dowell. But I don't think he's coming here to just sit on the bench. I think he'll be coming here to push for a starter because of where he's coming from. His wage is going to be pretty decent, there's no doubt. He's going to be on quite a significant wage because you don't come up here for buttons if you're in England, because he would have had offers in England. I'm pretty sure he would have had offers elsewhere. So no, it's one of the ones that you will need to wait and see, mate, and judge him when you see him. Because I'm the same. I don't know anything about the lad. I don't know. I've never seen him play. I might have seen him play, not inadvertently knowing who he was, if that makes sense. The game might have been on and I might have been looking at a screen at one time while he was playing, but I don't know anything about him. But everything about this signing, I'm like, yeah, fair enough. It's a good bit of business to start off with when it's going to be one of many. Look, we're Rangers fans. We're going to pull apart every signing that the club choose to make because it's who we are. It's what we do. I am hoping that the rumours of us looking further afield are true and we start seeing people that have maybe not played in England before.
Yeah, I mean, we do dip into the English market quite a lot, and that's Beale's background. He's been in the English leagues for years. He's got contacts there. He obviously has. He's worked in Brazil as well, Beale. But the English market is one he knows, so he's dipped into it. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see this boy. Good age and everything. He ticks the box, he scores goals. So yeah, it's first of many signings that will be in the door with Rangers this summer. There'll be a lot of players coming in, so yeah, there's enough time to get excited for maybe some foreign players coming in with fancy names. But before we move on to the next part of the show, it's time for my favourite part. I'm going to put a bit more enthusiasm.
Yes, please do. Yeah, I was about to say that to you. Please do put a bit more enthusiasm.
I get pelters for folk in the comments last time about my Manscaped. Was it monotone? I think the word was a lot of people use. Yeah. So I'll try and be more enthusiastic with it. It is quite a long spiel to read, folks, in the comments.
I've actually adjusted it for you. Actually, I think you'll find when you read it, it's slightly different than it was. Don't worry, there's nothing in it that's going to put you off. I know you're like,
don't worry, I read it earlier on.
You'll just
I looked for an red herring in it, and
it's slightly easier for you to read. So hopefully, it's put a bit of gusto into it, mate. Come on.
Here we go. Time for a word from our sponsors. It's time to mind your manholes with Manscaped. Everyone is aware by now that nose hairs are a major turn-off. That's why Manscaped have released the brand new Weed Whacker 2.0. With improved blades and motor, you can feel the power in the palm of your hands. Save money and attack your nose and ear hairs by going to manscaped.com and using the code CLUB@22 to get 20% off and free shipping. Our friends over at Manscaped are helping to enjoy spring's air, fresh air, by using the Weed Whacker 2.0 in all your face hole hair. Also, the Weed Whacker 2.0 will be in all Manscaped's tool sets, including the Platinum Package 4.0 and the Performance Package 4.0. So no matter what kit you pick, you'll receive the new Weed Whacker 2.0 nose and ear trimmer. Let's Manscaped be part of your daily grooming routine. Ensure no hairs is ever out of place. It's time to level up your grooming game. Save 20% off and free shipping with the code CLUB@22 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code CLUB@22 at manscaped.com. From below to up top, get the best in grooming at Manscaped. Your nose, ears, body and balls will thank you.
Well done,
Much
mate.
better.
That was much better. Much better. Round of applause, everybody in the comments.
Thank you very much.
That was much better. Congratulations, Charlie. You'll get your end of season bonus now, mate.
I've been giving him lessons, Carney.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
to be
You can
fair,
tell.
Scotia was very polished last week. He wasn't nervous last week. It was some performance you put in last week, Scotia. So I had to up my game this week. It didn't go off to a great start in the podcast with the technical difficulties. So, but we're into it now. So, no, Manscaped, brilliant. Scotia's favourite. Scotia loves the boxers as well. He's probably got them on now as we speak. But moving on, we have another friendly announced. Obviously, we have the Al McGregor testimonial against Newcastle, where Newcastle is getting the full Broom loan, I think, or they're getting 9,000 tickets or whatever. The UB are getting moved into the Copeland for a trial singing section, which we could probably discuss at a later date, to be honest, but that'll be interesting how that gets on in terms of safe.
Ruffled some feathers.
Yes, I think it will. We could be here all day talking about that, so maybe we talk about that another time. But we have one just announced this week against Hamburg. I think we've all been screaming out for years to play teams like this who we're associated with. And what a great friendly. Saturday, 22nd of July, 3 o'clock kickoff. You couldn't ask for any better. I even thought, I know, Carney, you were having a wee, not a moan, but the Al McGregor prices for the Newcastle game is 25 quid, which I agree with you. I thought it was steep for a friendly. I know it is Al McGregor's testimony, but this I thought was reasonably priced, Carney. £15 for adults, £10 for concessions, £5 for children, and £1 for junior MyGers members as well. Carney, I'll come to you first. 3 o'clock on a Saturday, end of July against Hamburg. They'll bring some support over. Obviously, the two clubs have a good history with each other. This is going to be a good day out, isn't it?
Absolutely, mate. Yes, I am absolutely buzzing about that. See, as soon as I seen it announced, I actually got the wee hairs on my face stood up, mate. But I thought, oh, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. 3 o'clock on a Saturday, man. For that, that's a very smart move by the club. That I honestly think that will be close to a sellout. I'm not kidding on.
Yeah.
For that game, I think you'll be close to a sellout for that because they'll bring a good crowd over. They'll be just as buzzing to come over as we are as to welcome them here. My only criticism of it is it's not in Germany because I would have loved to have went over there for that. Absolutely loved to have went over there for that. But no, what a friendly, mate. Yes, I was like, definitely, man. All for that. I think that's absolutely great. We've been calling for this for ages for us to do something like this. So no, very, very good move by the club. Very, very good move. I'm very excited about that. That should be a cracker of a day out, mate. That's definitely one that I'm that'll be a breakfast meeting in the pub for for about 11, half 11. But I'm definitely looking forward to it, mate. I think it's a cracking move by the club.
Yeah, hopefully the weather's good as well. That could add to it. Viceroy's Beer Garden as well could be used that day. So I'm looking forward to it. Scotia, is this the first of the club listening to the fans in terms of Bisgrove and the hot seat now? We've been going on about, I think us as a podcast have been going on about this game for a few seasons now about this. But for it to actually happen in the summer, Scotia, it's an exciting friendly, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one because, to be honest, I still don't know what the Newcastle game is. Is it a testimonial game? Is it pre-season? No, it's Alan McGregor's testimonial against Newcastle, but we've been told it's going to get used as a pre-season game for the squad, which is a bit different to what you would expect to be a normal testimonial type game.
What's the date? What's the date for the McGregor one against Scotia? Is it before this game or is it after?
I think it's the Wednesday night before. It's the Wednesday night before, I think. So this one, yeah, Saturday, like you say, a Saturday 3 o'clock game, ideal. The majority of folk probably not working, get along to it, like you say. Hamburg more than likely bring a massive support over. In fact, you might need to give. Well, you wouldn't need to give them the full room. We could all mix in together because there's such strong ties between this squad. But obviously, from a policing point, they probably wouldn't want to do that. But there's no reason they couldn't. No, I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, earlier this season, Ryan was trying to get us all to go across to Hamburg for the Hamburg St Pauli game. Obviously, it just clashed. I couldn't do it at the time. Something that I would love to do, go over to Hamburg to get a game in. This coming here, brilliant. Like you see, is it the club listening to the fans? Yeah, partially, I think, but because I know we were screaming out for this, like, well, why didn't we do a friendly against Hamburg last season? And I think the reason for that is it's all kind of tied into the disaster. I don't really want to mention it, but the disaster of the club, the board previously bringing forward the Sydney Cup idea. By the time that get canned, Hamburg had probably already tied up their own friendly fixtures last season. So at least we're getting it this season. I think it's going to be a cracking day.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. It's that's 2 home games at Ibrox.
To be fair, the way things are going this summer with us and how busy we are and things happening, that might be our end of season day out.
Yeah,
that might actually have to be that far away, to be honest.
I did think about that, Karen. I was looking at dates and I thought that's a 3:00 Saturday going to Ibrox. That could be the club at 22 end of season day out. So yes, if Ryan's not on holiday, I know Ryan's on holiday usually, so we'll need to speak to Ryan to see if he's available.
We could maybe do a live Viceroy pod the week before. Now I'm thinking.
Yeah, no, we could. Yeah. I'm sure we can do something. But yeah, no, I think it's a fantastic friendly, and it'll be interesting to see who we play the end of July. Do we go away somewhere? I know the fans like a nice away trip in the summertime, so it'll be interesting if we have a decent away trip for the support to go down and enjoy themselves. But yes, so it'll come when it comes. But moving on, the presser today, young Robbie McCrory was the player, but I don't take much for the player, I want to be honest. It's just a generic thing. But Michael Beale was asked several questions today. Interesting comments from Beale today. I thought I'll start with one comment, Carney. He was asked about Steve Davis in terms of he's going to be staying with the squad in terms of his rehab. He's going to be around the squad. And he added about an experienced, he would say a Rangers player potentially joining the backroom staff as a link, because what he said previously with the previous managers has been that there's been no guy there as a link man, if you want to say, in terms of who knows the club, etc. And he did mention this, if somebody wants to come into a coaching, if they want to go down that route and join his staff, and he did say there should be someone joining his staff. That I thought it was quite interesting, Carney. Whether it's Steve Davis or not, I expect him to still play football, but I quite like that because it's good to have a guy who knows what the club's all about in your squad.
I couldn't agree more. And Steve Davis is like the utmost professional you'll ever meet. Really, the way he presents himself, the way he acts on and off the pitch, he's a role model for anybody wanting to play for Rangers. He's a legend at this club, mate, for what he's achieved over these 2 spells at the club. He's a fantastic role model to have, and a guy that thoroughly gets it, a guy that's lived the dream, literally lived the dream. So it was an interesting comment by Bill. I agree, mate. I thought that he's definitely looking for someone. I know we've had it kind of previously, or we tried to do it previously. I think we tried to do it with
Caixinha.
Was it Caixinha? Johansson, wasn't it? Johansson, we tried to do it. And obviously Caixinha was a disaster. So that didn't really stick. But as well, like even having players like Kevin Thompson when he was here, I think that's so important. I generally do. I mean, Kevin Thompson isn't a Rangers fan. He isn't, but the guy completely understands what it is to play for Glasgow Rangers and what you have to be to play for Glasgow Rangers. And but I mean, Steve Davis he's a boyhood fan. Do you know what I mean? And he's been here and done it and bought the T-shirt and then come back and done it all again. And I think it would be a great move. It's not one that you would find me having any objections with a guy like Steve Davis being involved in around the team and being that guy that when players come to Ibrox, that he kind of doesn't take them under his wing as such, but kind of shows them the ropes, shows them exactly what it's all about, and almost keeps it in check, kind of keeps everything in check. I think he will be a fantastic coach. Whether he wants to go into management or not, I don't know. But again, I just want to say I think it's absolutely fantastic by the club not to just let Steve Davis walk out the door this summer when his contract expires, to keep him around in order to let him finish his rehab with the club. It's the very, very least the guy deserves. For his Rangers career to finish the way that it has is a real shame. It is a real shame. However, I think that will be forgotten about in time because the guy is an absolute star, a role model, and everything it is to be a Ranger.
Yeah, Scotia Steve Davis, like Beale said in the press today, he wouldn't want him to go out as a freak training incident, and that's him going for Rangers. I thought it should have been a class for Rangers, keeping him there, going through his rehab. Like Carney says, he's a role model, Steve Davis, to young players coming up through the ranks. Look at him, look at the way he lives his life, look at how many caps he's had for Northern Ireland. Never on the back pages of papers since he's been with Rangers, even as a younger guy. He has a
front
role
pages.
model.
Yes,
front pages. Front pages. Sorry, there's been plenty of back pages. Yes, but front pages I'm on about there. Yes. What was your thoughts though on what I was talking about? Beale alluding to maybe a Steve Davis, maybe not Steve Davis, but a player along those lines, possibly joining his staff.
Yeah, well, firstly, before that, like you and Carney said there, I think it's brilliant what the club are doing, but I expected no less, and particularly for a player like Stephen Davis, who's been with us over the periods that he's been here for a number of years. So I expected nothing less. The right thing to do is to get him back up and running, because I think it's not until December he's kind of due back. And obviously that's without any setbacks, which Beale kind of did mention that in his press conference as well. He did. I think he would maybe just saying this, but he did kind of say, once we get there, we'll then see, because he completely dismissed that, would Rangers then offer him, like, say that he comes back fully fit, would Rangers offer him like a 6-month contract to the end of like next season? I thought he was maybe getting at something like that. But in terms of your question around bringing him into the backroom team, yeah, I can fully see the merits in it. It's something that we've discussed often enough, that you need players in here or ex-players come in and do that. My only concern is doing it from right after you finish playing for the club and jumping straight into it, because you don't know how they're going to be. Everything points in the direction that Davis would be an excellent coach, because, like you have mentioned, the way he conducts himself and the way that he's played the game of football throughout his career so far. But I've just got that slight niggly feeling that sometimes it's maybe better go away from what is the Goldfish Bowl of Glasgow, get used to what you're doing, and then potentially come back and be better at it. Getting thrown straight in could lead to a bit of a, you're no good, and then straight out the door kind of thing. I suppose I've got slight hang-ups about McCoy's becoming the manager, put it that way, in terms of stuff like that. But no, I wouldn't see any harm if, like I say, everything points in that direction that he would be really good at it. Yeah, that would be ideal.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting with Beale when he was speaking about it today, but we'll see what happens. Another comment that he mentioned after, I think it was Hearts, he did say something about it's not just going to be young players coming to Rangers, there will be ones with grey hair, I think was a kind of quote he kind of said. He was asked this today in the presser, in terms of, I think a lot of people have read between the lines and thought we're maybe bringing in a Jermaine Defoe type, if you want to say, a guy that's been round the block, or a veteran, if you want to say. He shot it down today in the presser, he said we're not bringing veterans in. What he was alluding to, it was these players that have played in big teams, big leagues, and they've played in Europe, players with experience he wants to bring into Rangers. And I like that. I know he's been in Scotia's favourite part of the world, Italy, teasing us with wee pictures and stuff where he's been. But it gets the fans excited when he's talking about a bigger name player. That's what he wants in, to add a bit of experience in the squad, and not just a guy that's maybe 36 wanting to come up here for a holiday. I thought it was, it's quite interesting, that.
Yeah, Rangers on tour literally stole what I was going to say, that we were signing Ravanelli. That is literally what I was just about to say. I think it's interesting that he's almost like with Beale, like we always say that sometimes he says too much, and then in other things he's quite coy about things, and he keeps cards quite close to his chest. He could be talking about anything there, really, in all seriousness. If you wanted to really break it down, you could be talking about absolutely anybody. If he wants to bring Lukaku, is Lukaku still playing it in Italy, Scotia? Yes. If he wants to bring Lukaku, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. But no, I think Butland could fall under that category as well. in terms of a guy that's played in a kind of major. He's been part of major teams, big teams. He's been part of, and he understands that, and he's got a level head. I would imagine. Not that I think any keeper should have a level head. I think they should all be a bit mental. Because I don't know why you would want to spend a career having footballs blasted at you all the time, but it could mean anything by it. If he was going to do it, I mean, I'm not really for any of the area having any area of the pitch having a experienced or old, not experienced, an older player, and by old I mean like 33 plus maybe. I'm not really for that. I think it's time that we really concentrate on the model that the board are trying to work on in terms of the pillars of success, that they say that we need to be buying players in that can build on what they already are and then resell them on at a profit. So I would like to see a real injection of youth into the team, but I don't mean like 17, 18. I mean like probably between 22, 25, 26, 27, something like that, around that age. Guys that are pretty much reaching their peak or getting close to their peak. That's what I would like to see going forward. But I think it was a wee bit tongue-in-cheek what he was saying, and could be, from what I took from what you've just said, it could be Butland that he's talking about, because that one looks like it might be back on the table, mate. But yeah, still interesting. I can't wait for it, mate. I just want can all the signings not just be tomorrow, so I know who we're signing, please.
Yeah, Scotia. I mean, it could be Butland. Just the way he was talking in the press, he was going on about a guy that's been experienced in Europe, experienced in big
Has he
leagues,
played in
big
Europe,
teams,
Butland?
winning. I'm not sure with Palace. I don't know if he has. But what was your take on that, Scotia? Obviously you're a man that knows the Italian leagues very, very well, and I know he's been out there. But I know Carney says he talks too much sometimes. Beale maybe gives us false hope, but I quite like the wee line of potential players that he's looking to bring in alongside these other younger guys.
Yeah, like you say, I think he was more clarifying the comment he'd made, because he'd said the grey-haired thing. Everyone's expecting this experienced player to come in, and really the only position that I would be looking to bring someone in that's, in their 33 to sort of 35, 36 kind of area would only be centre defence, because obviously Walter Smith done it so well with bringing in Weir and Eggeog.
I seen Johnny Evans was linked. That was one that was
Johnny Evans was one. Obviously when the first time he was out in Italy, obviously of Chris Smallins playing at Roma and stuff like that. Those were the kind of comments, and maybe people are linking it to that. But I think today he kind of came out and clarified, when he's talking about grey-haired players, he's talking about players that have been there in stressful situations, played for a club like of the demands, the standards of Rangers, because as we all know, it's a completely different kettle fish from playing, no disrespect, but playing for your likes in Norwich to playing for a club like Rangers. Kieran Dowell spoke about it in his press conference. He's seen nothing like it in terms of going around the trophy room and things like that. So I think he's one of those players that nothing's going to faze him. Playing in the Goldfish Bowl, like Scottish football, the media scrutiny that will be on you. I think that's what he was kind of getting at. So that doesn't necessarily mean he needs to be in his mid to late 30s. It could be someone, that's mid 20s, that's played a bit, been in hostile environments, played under those kind of stressful situations. So yeah, you could read anything into it really, but I think he did kind of put to bed the fact, not saying that there won't be like an older type statesman player coming in, but I think he kind of put to bed that he wasn't really getting at that in the first interview, or the first quote that he was quoted as saying.
Yeah, they were pressing him on signings today and stuff. He can't come out and say, we've got such and such signed. He just can't do that. He did say to them, look, the transfer window doesn't open officially to the middle of June, so probably can't say a lot. At least some of these guys could be contracted, so that they can't release it until then potentially. But I think from what he was saying, there's a few of them that are pretty much done deals. I think there might be a couple of guys in freeze that potentially we'll hear in the next week or so, and then obviously we'll move into a transfer window and bring more players in. But he wants his business done pretty much for pre-season, for us coming back, and we can hit the ground running with these players. So I'll be interested to see what happens. But moving on to the final game of this season, the longest season ever.
Hurrah!
We are taking on St Mirren. I don't even know what their ground's called anymore, Scotia. It's not even New St Mirren Park. What's it? It's always got a different name or something. It's sponsored.
It's got a sponsor by the stadium at it. Yeah, it's a daft one as well. It's like DSG or something like that. Stadium.
Yeah, tomorrow we've got a reporter from Club at 22 is going to be there live at the game. Scotia will be there, so if anyone's at the game tomorrow, go and meet Scotia. He will be there tomorrow. But St Mirren, I've got nothing to play for. They're sitting sixth in the league. They can't even catch Hibs in fifth. Fifth can get a European place if Celtic win the Scottish Cup, which is more than likely, to be honest. So, but St Mirren are way off Hibs. They can't catch Hibs at all. Beale did say Scotia that, again, interested in his presser. He was asked about these players that kind of got a send-off on Wednesday. Are they going to be involved on Saturday? And he kind of said no. Although I do expect maybe an Arfield to be in the bench potentially. He did say Cholak, who we keep forgetting about, will come back in for Morelos. So I don't think Morelos will be on the bench. And the other one, which I found bizarre, because he's not on a Bosman in the summer. He's still contracted as is Glenn Kamara is going to be out, and Bailey Rice is going to take his position in Team Scotia. What was your thoughts on that? Kamara, I thought was a weird one to say, but I think we all know that he's a player Rangers will look to move on in the summer.
Yes. Yeah, because I mean, Kamara's checked out since ever that move to wherever he was going didn't materialise, and we could have had Raskin a wee bit earlier if that had actually happened. But let's not dwell on that. No, I think that was that. Morelos definitely won't be. I've seen the pictures of him flying down to London, somewhere, playing earlier today. Getting Cholak back in for the last game. Okay, great. It's not going to tell us an awful lot. I mean, tomorrow's the definition of a dead rubber game, isn't it? No team with either anything to play for, and it's the one away game I'm getting to go to is the dead rubber. So fantastic.
Yeah, Garni, it was interesting when he said that Wednesday night basically was the farewell for these players, and tomorrow, like Scotia says, it is a dead rubber game, but at the same time, you're Rangers, you need to win every game. We'll still want to win the match, but it was interesting. The Morelos one, I understand, but the Kamara one was the one that I kind of thought, all right, okay, because he played the other night, and all of a sudden that's Bailey Rice is taking his position now, so it was a bizarre one if they put him in for the short window, or it was a farewell to the fans. I don't quite know what it was on Wednesday.
Yeah, near that, to be honest. I think usually, as you say, I don't want to try and pick apart what he said there too much, but to me, that you don't have to read too much into that. I think Glenn Kamara has been told that you can go. Because I don't understand. Thank you very much, Ray, for the donation, mate. Really do appreciate that. Ray. That's magic, mate. Cheers. I think he's been told he can go. I don't understand why you would come out and publicly say that Rice would be coming in to replace him. So it looks like that's almost just letting teams know as well that you can come get Glenn Kamara if you wish. Because I mean, what does it do for Kamara? Put it that way. Like, how does that make him feel? Do you know what I mean? It's not going to make him feel particularly good. So I would imagine that the conversation had already happened before even Wednesday night. I think Kamara knows that he won't be playing football here next season, and we will be looking to move him on. I'm excited to see Rice coming in. I think that's good because from when I've seen the B team, I think he looks like a really good player. Obviously, he's still young. I don't want to fling him in at the deep end and play him from the start. Which again, well, maybe we should, because as Scotia said, it's a friendly tomorrow. It really is just a friendly. We'll still all watch it, of course we will. And I'm sure Scotia will enjoy his away trip one way or another. I'm pretty sure he might be quite nervous about his away trip, so approach with caution, people, if you see him. But I think it kind of is what it is. Morelos is gone. He's already away. I'd imagine Ryan Kent's also already away. I'd imagine that they've, and by away I mean they've either left the country or they're away doing their own business to try and get themselves a club for next season. So yeah, and Antonio Cholak. I mean,
looking for a goal scorer.
Looking for a striker. Yeah. So will be interesting to see Cholak coming back in. I'd imagine he will start on tomorrow. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I say I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm absolutely buzzing to watch it, but if he decides to go with a bit of youth and starts it like Sir Rice, maybe starts Devine, maybe King will start, and starts Rice, then I'm interested to see how they get on. Why not? Why would you not play them? Because I think St Mirren could do something pretty similar, to be honest. I think they might, a few from their ranks, a few lower down there, pecking order within their squad might get a run out against Rangers, because I don't see any harm in doing so. So even though it's a pretty meaningless game, I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of team that we decide to put out.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I always remember that game before we went to Seville last season, and we played Hearts, which was a dead rubber game, and we played a lot of young boys in that game. So it'll be interesting to see who plays. The boy Bailey Rice. I mean, we talked about him in that B team. I just think he's very composed for a boy of 16. He doesn't look like a 16-year-old boy. I would play him tomorrow. I really would for the start. I'd put him in there. See what he's made of. He's played for Rangers in the first team before, so as if he's not played for us. He played for us at Livingston, I think, and he did very well that day. So interesting to see what sort of teams we pick and what Beale goes for. But Scotia, St Mirren, with a terrible run of form, to be honest. They get humped off Aberdeen 3-0 on Wednesday night. They get a guy sent off. They've not won in the last 5 games. As we said, it is a bit of a glorified friendly for them. They have nothing to play for apart from pride. Obviously, they'll want to go and win the game as well in front of their home support. What's your thoughts on tomorrow, your team and your scoreline?
Yeah, to be honest, I've not even looked to see how St Mirren were doing, so that was news to me, what you told me there. I've not kind of been paying attention to the other results in Scotland. Yeah, I've kind of checked out of that since, the league was completely mathematically over for us. It'll be a game of football. That'll be what it'll be. End of season game of football. I can't really. There's not much.
Yeah, a couple of beers on you, Scotia, before you go.
Oh, I'm sure there'll be plenty of nervous juice drank. Yes.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it a wee bit, but end of the season, see how the lads do. Obviously, I think for it, the majority of folk, Wednesday night there was the last game of the season, because it's a game that's not been broadcast on Sky TV again. That's another podcast in itself with the cracking Sky Television football deal that we've got. But yeah, looking forward to it. So my team, right, going with McCrory. Feel bad with this one. Tav, I did want to play Devine, but I think Tav will start. Tav, Suter, King, and Yilmaz. Midfield of Lundstrom, Raskin. Let's go with Bailey Rice to start. Lundstrom, Raskin, and Rice, and then Cantwell, Lowry, and I'm not sure how bad where Cholak is in terms of fit, because he's been out for a long, long time. So I'm going to start with Sakala up front, and I'll go.
Oh, brilliant!
I'll go 3-1 Rangers with Cantwell to score first.
Yeah, I'll take that. Carney, thoughts on tomorrow? Teams score?
Yeah, it's interesting to see what he does. I would like to see him bring in Devine. Why not? I mean, honestly, why not? Tav doesn't have to play. I don't see why you wouldn't give him a crash. I think he might play him at left back. Devine's played at left back before as well, so Tav is still there. But yeah, same. I'll go Devine at right back. The same other 4 at the back for us. Midfield, I'll go for Rice, Raskin, and Cantwell. Front line of Hadji, Cholak, and I'm going to have to say Sakala, haven't I? Yeah, and fashion Sakala. Yeah, I don't really know. Who else have we got? Who else is there? Who can play?
Matondo.
Scott Arfield might play. Arfield could play.
Tondo or Aaron Lyle. I know some people have been putting that in the comments. Aaron Lyle can play up there.
Yeah, Aaron Lyle would be interesting to see him play. Yeah, that'd be good. Or Lowry even, yeah. Somebody said Lowry as well. Yeah, it'd be good to see Lowry instead of Sakala. It'd be good to see Scotia starting instead of Sakala. I'm not going to lie about that. So no, I'm a bit of a mixed up team. I would like to see it. I would like to see what he does in terms of your kind of first team regulars and some from the B team. It would be good to see, and I just don't see why you wouldn't. To be honest, I know we always need to go on about needing to win, but I think St Mirren are not good. And again, this thing's happened. I just checked the league there. Again, this thing's happened. If we win tomorrow, the team in 7th's going to have more points than the team in 6th. Oh, why is this league like this? It absolutely does my head in. So yeah, I'll go for 2-0 Rangers and for Cantwell to score first.
Another Cantwell goal. Yeah, my team's same back line as you guys, and then my midfields, I'm going to play Bailey.
We've got a different back line.
Oh,
sorry, Ali, we've got a different back line. So
he always pays attention, Scotia. Don't worry about it.
Who did Carney have in it? Right, did he put the line in? Oh, yeah, I thought you were just going with Tav. Right, so I'm going with Tav. Suter King, Yilmaz, Bailey Rice for me starting. Just put him in there. Raskin, Cantwell, and then a top 3. Carney, you'll shit yourself here. Cholak through the middle. Just play him. Even if we get a half through from him, you can take him off. But Cholak through the middle, either side of him. The man for Zambia, Carney's favourite pal, and Carney's other favourite pal, Arabi Matondo on the other side. And I'm going to go 3-0 Rangers. And I'm going to go Matondo. First goal scoring.
Brilliant. Good luck with that one, by the way. Good luck with that one.
Great odds for that.
Great odds, mate.
Yeah. No, I'm interested to see who he picks tomorrow. Probably none of us will get it right, to be honest. There'll be somebody in there. Hadji could start. Lowry, I don't know. He could start anyone, to be honest, tomorrow. It's one of the games where he can really do what he wants. He can experiment with a different formation if he wants. So we'll find out tomorrow. But yes, that is us just ran over the hour, lads. So I would like to thank everybody in the comments tonight. Kind donation we had as well too. And yes, if you could like and share, that would be much appreciated. We are now over the 4,000. Our next milestone is 5,000 if we could get there. So that'd be greatly appreciated if you could, if we could get to that level. But yes, before we go, I would like to thank my guest tonight. First of all, Scott Carney. Wasn't a good start from us, but we've ended well.
I'm actually scared to click the outro button, mate, because I don't know what's going to happen. Thank you to the coffee buyers as well. And Anonymous has just come in and bought us five coffees there as well, which is absolutely tremendous. Thank you so much. Honestly, really do appreciate it. Yeah, and season comes to a close tomorrow. I know not many people might not be many people choosing to tune into the reaction video tomorrow, the club reaction video tomorrow. So for everybody that's still here, I just want to say thank you to everybody for continuing with us again through this season. We've got to a stage where I didn't think we would really ever get to, and we're still loving it as much as we did back at the start. The way you support us is absolutely fantastic. I'm not 100% sure. We're not going away over summer. We will still be here. There'll be at least one show a week, I think, going forward. But we're not really sure yet. We've not had a chance to kind of sit down and discuss what we're going to do going forward. But we're not going to disappear, so don't worry about that. The Friday show will probably always be the one that remains, to be honest, because it's live and you can come in and interact with us. And we'll react to things as and when they happen, with players leaving and players coming in. So, yeah, again, just thank you to everybody. It's been absolutely superb. And hopefully next season, we're all sitting here very, very happy and very delighted that it's the last game of the season, but for completely different reasons. Not the season we wanted, that's for sure, but it's still an absolute pleasure to do this and to sit and get to speak to everybody and the people we meet as well, going to the games and stuff. It's just bonkers. It really is absolutely crazy, but I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart, and thank you to the three clowns that do this with me as well. They're no half bad.
I don't know who those clowns are he's talking about, Scotia. Yes. No, echo everything Carney was saying. They're spot on. No, we appreciate it. It's fantastic when people come and see us out in the streets and stuff. It's bizarre, to be honest, where they want to come speak to us clowns, as Carney put us there. But
mate, I'm a clown as well. It's okay.
I know, it's right. Yeah. But no. Last but not least, the man they all tune in to see every week, Scotia. You're away to I'll just call it New St Mirren Park tomorrow. Good luck, and I will see you after.
Someone put it in the comments.
No, is that what it is? I will see you after the game tomorrow for a few beverages.
Yeah, it's nearly not too long, everybody, until the season's over. And we, as Michael Beale said in his press conference, it can be a good riddance to it because it's not been a really enjoyable one. It's had some moments, but not overly many, unfortunately, for all of us that support Rangers. But yeah, no, thank you for tonight, Ali. Thanks to all the listeners as well. Their comments always crack me up at times, so I really appreciate that. And yeah, thank you, Carney. And yeah, speak to you next time, probably not tomorrow, but at some point in the coming week.
Yes. So, yes, one final game for Rangers to play tomorrow, and that is us. We can relax for a couple of months. An exciting summer, I think we've all got lined up in terms of what players are going to be coming to the Rangers, and we can start afresh next season. So, yes, we have been Club at 22, the Rangers podcast, and we will be back tomorrow with some sort of match reaction against St Mirren. So we will see you then. Good night.